Mission.
Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for watching my channel and my videos and listening to my podcast. And most certainly, thank you very much for helping out here on Patreon. I'm very grateful that you do. Now, before I get started with this podcast, which is going to be a little bit about Kate's law and the issue with Kate Steinle in California and the way it's dealing with those kind of things, which is infuriating if you've been watching the news, and some concealed carry news for you as well. We'll talk about that some in the second segment. But before we do either of that, let me remind you that one way that you can help out with GunGuy TV this Christmas is by shopping, whenever you shop on Amazon for Christmas, or any time of the year for that matter, if you'd shop through our Amazon link, that would help a ton. And that's the link that you're seeing right there at the top of our website. We've got a big yellow circle around it. If you just go to our website at gunguy.tv, you'll also find it at gunguytv.com. or gunguytv.net. Any of those things will take you to that website. If you click on that little banner that you can see there, that will take you to Amazon, and you can do all of your shopping on Amazon. You'll pay the same price. Your deals will be the same. Your Amazon Prime will work. Everything stays the same for you. But since Amazon sees that you found what you were looking for through our link, we get a small commission as an Amazon affiliate. And it really does add up, and it helps a lot. The really good part about it is it costs you absolutely nothing except a little bit more time to go to our website first and then click on that banner before you do your shopping at Amazon. That's all you got to do. There's no cost to you at all. It's just a couple of extra clicks. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, going to gunguy.tv, or if you like, gunguytv.com or gunguytv.net, it's all the same website, and click on that banner and then do your shopping. That would help us a ton. And I got to tell you, we'll use all the help we can get. Obviously, we don't make an awful lot on YouTube. So this is the kind of stuff that actually keeps the channel going, and I'm very grateful for your help. All right, Kate Steinle. You can see this headline. This headline got me. It says, a jury found seven-time felon. Seven-time felon. I mean, that guy's been convicted of 7 felonies. Seven-time felon, 5 times deported. The guy's been thrown out of the country 5 times and come back. And by the way, he said that he came back to San Francisco because it was a sanctuary city. So 7 times felon, 5 times deported illegal alien Jose Garcia Zarate, also known apparently as Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, not guilty in the case of the 2015 murder of Kate Steinle, and this all happened yesterday evening. Now, this is in spite of the fact that he previously confessed. I mean, he confessed in a news interview. Well, I think it was ABC, where he confessed in a jailhouse news interview to the killing. He also confessed to police at one point. He confessed to police that he actually pulled the trigger, and he gave them some very confusing statements. I mean, these are just really cheap excuses. I don't want to get in trouble, so let me make up a couple of stories. One of them, this is a great quote that I love this. This is a quote from him. Well, when I was walking along, there was a rag and stuff, and I stepped on it, and then it fired. What happened? I mean, come on now. I could take every semi-automatic pistol I've got. I could take revolvers. I could borrow them from friends. I could load them all, put them on the ground, step on them, stomp on them, whatever. They're not going to go bang. It just doesn't work that way. And this is a .40 caliber pistol apparently taken from a law enforcement vehicle previously, stolen. I didn't get all the details there, but that's my understanding. And so you're thinking about the average law enforcement .40, and you step on it because it's loaded, and it goes off. Yeah, right. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? No. So that's not going to fly. Then he says, well, no, he told the police that he was aiming at a sea lion when it went off. He wasn't aiming at Kate Steinle. He was aiming at a sea lion when the gun went off. Well, wait a minute. Were you stepping on it and it went off, or were you holding it in your hand when it went off? And then he told the police, when they asked him specifically, did you pull the trigger? The answer was yes. And they asked him, what did you think was going to happen when you pulled the trigger? Well, I thought I'd be able to keep it. So he had this gun, and he pulled the trigger, and Kate Steinle died, right? I mean, she was shot, and apparently it pierced her aorta, this young woman. She's just there with her dad, and he died. Or she died. And then he goes to jail, and now he's found not guilty. Let me remind you, 7-time felon, 5 stinking times. This guy has been deported from the country and come back again. Why was he on the street in the first place? And what was he doing wandering around California, free as a bird? These are questions somebody somewhere has got to answer. I mean, like I said, he went to San Francisco because he specifically said he went there because he knew it was a sanctuary city. Well, Jose, Juan, whatever you're calling yourself now, guess what? The entire stinking state is a sanctuary state now because our beloved Governor Jerry Moonbeam Brown and our lunatic legislature has made California a sanctuary state. So this President Trump was so upset. I mean, he's been talking about Kate's Law for a while. He called it the other day, called this a complete travesty. They're talking about, I think it was AG Sessions or something, talking about trying to try this joker in federal court, but I don't know what they're going to try him on. I mean, really? Seriously? But that's what they're talking about. But this was the quote that really got me. It's in my stack of stuff over here, I think. Maybe not, but you can see it on your screen. This quote got me. This is from Breitbart News. Feds commit to deporting 5-time deported illegal alien after Kate Steinle's murder trial. Seriously? Let me read that to you again. Feds commit to deporting 5-time deported illegal alien after Kate Steinle's murder trial. Fat lot of good that's going to do. They've deported this clown already 5 times. He keeps coming back. And this time, he doesn't have to travel to San Francisco for sanctuary. The minute he crosses the border into California, he's in a sanctuary state. And even if he commits a crime, he's already been convicted of 5 felonies. By the way, you may not know this about California, okay? But California is a 3-strike state, or at least it has been forever. I don't know that that's ever changed. I sat because I was looking for, I was helping a bail bonds buddy of mine. We were looking for a fugitive. We expected her to show up at her boyfriend's hearing at court. And we sat in the Superior Court. I think we were in Orange County, and it was arraignment day. The judge sat up there, the public plea bargainers, which is what I call them. They're not public defenders. They don't defend anybody, but they just plea bargain. They had stacks of files this stinking high. All day long. We watched people come in with 2 strikes, 2 felony strikes, be facing a 3rd strike. And they'd walk out with 1 strike and probation. Because the court would plea bargain the current strike down from a felony to misdemeanor so they didn't have 3 strikes, so they didn't have to throw them in prison. And they'd remove a previous strike. So here's this person walks in with 2 felony strikes. They've got a 3rd one. And rather than going to prison, which is what you're supposed to do with them, they'd walk out with 1 felony strike and probation because they didn't want to put them in jail. And even the ones that go to jail, the state regularly releases early. Violent criminals. They just dump them into our society in the state of California. And if you think they stay here, you're wrong. Some do. Some don't. Some go to other states and commit crimes there. So happy Merry Christmas, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, whatever. I mean, it's insane what they do. So then they want to deport this guy. Oh, well, whoop-de-doo. This joker's been deported 5 times. He was able to be deported and come back into the country 5 times without going to prison. He was able to commit 7 felonies, and somehow he's not locked up. He's just free as a bird. Nobody will touch him in a sanctuary state. He's able to murder, and I'm just going to call it what it is, murder a young, 32-year-old young woman in front of her dad on the pier in San Francisco and not get convicted of it. The only thing apparently they've found him guilty of is illegal possession of a firearm, and the maximum he can get there is 3 years. Well, he's already been in jail for a while waiting for this trial. He'll probably go out. He's probably going to get cut loose here pretty quick. That's it. So why would that guy or any other criminal in this state be concerned about getting caught or be concerned about committing crimes? There's no consequence to it. There's none. You can kill somebody if you want to. Doesn't matter. Come into the country illegally and kill some American citizen in California. Oh, and you'll be fine. You might do a year or 2. That's it. They're going to cut you loose again. They'll throw you out of the country. Hey, it's not a big deal. It's like a big party. You can come right back. It's a sanctuary state. This stuff is insane. Now, in the meantime, this is the part that boggles my, if that doesn't boggle your mind. In the meantime, the Senate, the United States Senate, still has not voted on Kate's Law 5 months after it was passed with bipartisan support in the House. They still have not voted, as far as I know, on the No Sanctuary for Criminals Act, which was passed through the House at the same time. They're just sitting there in the Senate. Now, you want to know what they do? Kate's law would increase the maximum prison sentence for illegal aliens caught re-entering the United States following deportation. In other words, we throw you out, you come back in, you're going to prison. That's it. There's no more of this revolving door border thing. We throw you out once, you come back in, you're going to prison. That's it, right? Straight to the Gray Bar Hotel for a while. You do it a third time, you're going to prison for a long time. Well, that's what we need. The No Sanctuary for Criminals Act bars sanctuary cities, and well, now sanctuary states like California, that do not cooperate with federal immigration enforcement from receiving federal grants. Not all federal grants, but a lot of them. It also leaves them vulnerable to liability. So guess what? If you're in a sanctuary city or sanctuary state and this law is passed and you get hurt or injured, or somebody you know, some American citizen, or somebody gets hurt because of some criminal act of an illegal alien in a sanctuary, you can sue the city, you can sue the county, you can sue the state because they're open for liability because they allowed that criminal to be walking around and didn't help enforce the laws and didn't help the federal government enforce the laws. Now, how does this, now you're saying, well, but you're the gun guy, dude. How on earth does this relate to Second Amendment and firearms rights? Well, I'm going to tell you. With all of that backdrop in mind, yes, I've got a different cup today. Okay. With all that backdrop in mind, we now know that you can come into the state, it's a sanctuary state. The local authorities, state authorities are not going to tell the feds you're here. They're going to let you walk around, commit crimes. They're not going to do anything about it. And then if you're a repeat felon, they're going to let you walk around, commit crimes. They're not going to do anything about it. If you do commit a heinous crime and you kill somebody, guess what? You're probably not going to prison for any length of time because this guy murdered a girl on the pier in San Francisco with a stolen gun after having been convicted of 7 felonies previously and having been deported 5 stinking times. And he's been just found not guilty. Boggles my mind. Maybe it's just because I'm not a sleazeball attorney and I don't know how the system works. But I mean, at some point or other, justice is justice, and there hasn't been any here. On top of all that, Governor Brown recently signed, this is our governor, Moonbeam Brown, up there in Sacramento. That guy is about 3 fries short of a Happy Meal. Okay, his elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. His beans are only about half-baked. This guy signs into law a bill that reduces the penalties for committing a crime with a firearm in the state of California. The legislature actually wrote that. I mean, they submitted the bill to him. This is our legislature in California. They wrote that bill, they sent it to Brown, and Brown signed it. And now the mandatory penalties which were in place for committing a crime with a firearm are not there anymore. They can be reduced and dropped down to nothing, and, if you want to. It's all at the whim of the judge at the time. So you get some liberal, wacko, snowflake judge, and he's just allowed to let you walk. Unbelievable. Now, we come to this guy right here. That's right. This joker right here. That would be San Diego County Sheriff Bill Gore. In some states, most states where you get a concealed carry permit, it's issued by the state. Not so in California, because California law allows a local law enforcement authority to issue permits, so you're a victim of whatever municipality or county you live in, and most of the time it's county sheriffs. Now, the overwhelming majority of county sheriffs in the state of California are pro-Second Amendment and issue concealed carry permits. But in the big cities, oftentimes they don't. Sheriff Gore is one of those. Now, he'll issue them to business people and like that, which is why I've got one. But if you just want one for self-defense, probably not going to happen. Now, he's up for re-election, so what did he do? And this little article in the Times of San Diego is entitled, Sheriff Gore Aims to Issue More Concealed Gun Permits in San Diego County. That's complete nonsense. What he said was, "Oh, we don't turn them all down. I mean, you know, if you, so we don't just automatically turn them down. We do issue some. So don't, you know, people say don't apply because you're never going to get it. No, go ahead and apply. We'll take a look at it. And, you know, if I get reelected, you know, we might just issue some. We may just consider issuing some more of those." Now, look. That guy's history has been to be as tight can be where those permits are concerned, and only issue them after putting you through the mill and making your life miserable and making you provide all these documents. They used to be incredibly rude in that department. Since they were sued by Ed Peruta, they're actually polite now, but that doesn't mean the fact that that doesn't mean they don't turn you down, and that doesn't mean they won't run you out. And he even said when he was talking to these folks, when he was pandering, he said, you know, if you have a good reason, any reason other than I just want one, well, I just want one is a reason. Self-defense is a reason. The Second Amendment is a reason, particularly in a state that has said to every criminal alien in the world, come here because it's sanctuary. Come here because you can be a repeat offender and we don't care. We're not going to do anything to you. You come here. You can commit crimes in the state. And you know what? We'll just slap you on the wrist and cut you loose. Come here because you can go on the San Francisco Pier and murder a young woman. And you know what? You won't get convicted of it. That's the message that we're sending. And yet this idiot right here and those like him want to make it as tough as possible for law-abiding citizens of the United States, law-abiding citizens of the state of California, who are actually citizens of the country and here legally, not illegally, law-abiding folks who are from other countries who are here legally. Oh no, if you do something, oh no. You cannot defend yourself. If you do, we're coming after you. That is the most insane proposition I think I've ever run into. This gentleman here, Sheriff Gore, needs to go. He needs to go. That nutcase that's sitting in the governor's chair, Governor Moonbeam Brown, he needs to go. These liberal snowflake legislators up here who keep pandering to people who commit crimes, to criminals, illegal aliens who come into this country without permission. And that, guess what? When you break the federal law, you have committed a crime. You are a criminal alien. You're not an undocumented worker. Oh, these undocumented workers. No, they're criminal aliens. They've broken our laws. Call it what it is, please. They're not undocumented. Gee, I'm terribly sorry that I broke into your house and burglarized the place and stole all your stuff. You know, I'm just an undocumented resident. I'm not a burglar. And I know you locked the door and like that, but I just wasn't an approved resident. That's all it was. No, you're a burglar. You're a criminal. You stole my stuff. Okay? That's how it works. If you break the law, then you've committed a crime. Okay? So we've got a state full of people who want to support people who commit crimes, rather than taking care of the state's citizens who don't, who are honest, law-abiding, hardworking citizens of the country, citizens of the state. And until that changes, we're going to have more stuff like this happen. That's what we're going to have. We're going to have more stuff like this happen, and we see it in the news every day. This joker's going to go scot-free. They're going to throw him over the fence, send him back to Mexico, or wherever he came from, and I guarantee you it'll be the 6th time he's deported, and he'll come right back. Because there's no law to punish him if he does. And we're in a sanctuary state. If you're in California and you don't vote, I want to tell you, you got to change that. If you're in California, you don't pay attention to this kind of stuff, and you don't act upon it to make changes, I urge you, please change that. And if you're in California and you have worked at this and you're getting frustrated because this stuff seems to never change, don't stop. We have to keep working on it. We just do. And if you're outside of California, please lend us some support, at least moral support, if nothing else. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it. In this next segment, we'll talk about concealed carry and some other things, and certainly the reciprocity bill that was just passed by House Committee, which is awesome. But first, I want to mention this. Now, if you have a gun for self-defense at home, or you carry a gun every day like I do, then there is one thing I want to remind you to do, and that is to look into second call defense. Now you can see here is my second call defense card. So I'm practicing what I teach here. Make sure that you've got some sort of coverage for you in case you do have to use that gun to defend yourself. In my case, I've chosen second call defense. And the reason for that is that second call defense does a great job of providing money up front to pay the bills so that I don't have to sell my house or everything I own to try to come up with the money to pay an attorney. They're going to front that money ahead of time. And then if for some reason something goes wrong and I'm not acquitted or I'm not found not guilty, then I don't repay that money. And if I am exonerated, then their insurance company reimburses them as a foundation. But I'm not on the hook for the dough one way or the other. So second call defense just seems like the best one for me, and that's why I picked it to defend my family. That's why I suggest it to defend yours. So I urge you to check out second call defense. There's a link in the description. Now, if you're already a member of second call defense and you have not, if you're paying monthly particularly, then you want to cancel the existing account you have with Lochnan LLC, because second call defense now has a new insurer. It will save you a little bit less money, or save you a little bit, it costs you a little bit less money, save you some money, and you actually get some better benefits. So if you don't know how to make that change, go ahead and contact Second Call Defense directly. I'll put a link to their website in the description so you can contact them, and they'll walk you through the process of moving your account over so you save a little money, you get better benefits. If you're on a yearly plan, then I think at that point you don't worry about it until it comes to renew. But again, if you have questions, contact Second Call Defense directly. All right, now one of the positive things that's happened in the last week is that the House of Representatives has passed the National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Bill out of committee. And now my understanding is the way that works is once it's out of committee, it goes to the House floor. Then it'll have to be passed by the House, then it'll go to the Senate, and who knows what they're going to do with it over there, but at least it's moving forward. And I know that NRA and other groups are working very hard to get that bill through Congress and on the president's desk. He's already said that once it gets there, he will sign it. Here's why it's important, even in states like California. If you're in California and you're in Los Angeles or Imperial County or San Diego County, one of the counties that just doesn't issue very, very well, or doesn't issue, and you can't get a permit, there is a clause in the Constitution that talks about equal protection under the law. This is my thinking. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not a legal scholar. I'm just kind of an average guy. But as I've thought through this makes sense to me. How can I be considered to have equal protection under the law as a citizen of the country if I cannot get a permit to carry in my own state as an average citizen for simple self-defense? But people from all over the country who got permits for simple self-defense can then come to my state and carry as much as they want because of the National Concealed Reciprocity Bill. That strikes me as an opportunity for some gigantic lawsuits to force the state of California to become shall issue, and other states like it that are highly restrictive. I think Maryland is one, New York, New Jersey, certainly Hawaii is one, where it's very challenging, if not next to impossible for the average citizen, maybe impossible for the average citizen to get a permit to carry concealed. So I urge you, even if you're in a restrictive state like the state of California, contact your legislator and tell them, particularly in the House right now, and tell them you want that bill voted on and you want that bill passed. In fact, I would ring their phone and burn up their email and make sure they know that that's what you're looking for. You want that bill passed, even as a Californian, because, again, it's a huge argument in favor for your ability to have a concealed carry permit or to be able to carry a gun to defend yourself for simple self-defense. If everybody in the country, from the majority of the people in the country, can come here and do it, but you can't because you happen to be a citizen here. That doesn't make any sense logically, and it makes no sense legally as far as I know. So my hope is if we cannot change the law in California so that concealed carry permits are issued on a shall issue basis throughout the state, and we can't do it without that, maybe that federal law, which makes it legal for other states' citizens to come here and carry on their shall issue permits, might affect the state of California and force them to become shall issue. Now, keep in mind that even if that passes and the president signs it, Right now, everything the president does ends up in a lawsuit. So somebody somewhere is going to sue, some state is going to sue and say, no, that takes away states' rights, and it's going to go to the courts. That's why it's also important that the Senate have senators and that the president's team keep the Senate, and we replace some of these knucklehead senators who don't want to support him, because he is constantly submitting conservative, very conservative constitutional justices and judges to the Senate for approval, and he's got about 130 some odd positions to fill, more than any president in recent history. And if he can fill them, now he's stacked the federal court with conservative justices. We have a much better chance of getting some of this stuff through the legal system. So it's important that the Senate really get on authorizing and confirming those judges as quickly as possible. And those senators that resist need to be replaced. So if that's your senator in your state, then vote for the other guy and get him out of there. This is the process. I know it's long and it's hard and it's difficult, but that's the process we go through. But I wanted to encourage you, especially after talking so long about Kate's Law and the disastrous stuff going on here in California. If you're in California, particularly a restrictive state, I want to encourage you that national carry reciprocity bill has now been passed by the committee and out of committee in the House, which means it goes to the House floor. My understanding from just reading is there's a very good chance it's going to pass in the House, and then it goes to the Senate, and then we got to pester our senators to death, and particularly those of you in states that have conservative senators. In California, our senators are both loons, so I'm not sure that they're going to help. They're anti-gun snowflakes, but we'll pester them anyway. Pester the tar out of them, because if everybody in the country can go everywhere they go on their permit, and they can come to restrictive states and carry, that's a great argument, I think, to go into court with and say, well, why can't we in this restrictive state carry, since people from every other state in the union seem to be able to come to the very same city and walk around my house with a gun? So I'm hoping that will work out. It remains to be seen, but that's my thoughts on it. In any case, let me know what you think. I'd love to know what you think in the comments about Kate's Law, about the verdict in that situation, about the sheriff of San Diego and his pandering, about the state of California and their whack job laws and the sanctuary state issue and how it affects our ability to be safe as California citizens in this state. And certainly, I'd like to know what you think about the concealed carry reciprocity law. Do you think it will pass the House? Do you think it will pass the Senate? Do you think it has a good chance of ending up on the president's desk? I got to tell you, I do. And if it does, he'll sign it. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all your help on Patreon. Without you, I couldn't do any of the things that I do here. I just wouldn't have the funding to do it. So I'm extremely grateful for your support. Please don't stop. Have a great holiday season. Have a great week. Thanks again for watching. And please be safe.